Hi guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to my channel. My name is Denise. I'm a manifestation coach and I have been reading Neville's The Power of Awareness and I am now on chapter 6, Attention. So that's what we'll be reading and lightly discussing today. All right. Chapter 6, Attention. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus, that is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation. It is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only, for you steady the attention and increase its power by confining it. The desire which realizes itself is always a desire upon which attention is exclusively concentrated. For an idea is endowed with power only in proportion to the degree of attention fixed on it. Concentrated observation is the attentive attitude directed from some specific end. The attentive attitude involves selection. For when you pay attention, it signifies that you have decided to focus your attention on one object or state rather than another. So this is exactly what Neville and everyone else is talking about when they say you can't be double-minded. You can't exist in two states at once. And now what that means is it's actually impossible to do this. You cannot split your attention. And whichever state you reside in most naturally or return to most frequently is the state that you will manifest from. So whatever you're dominantly, naturally, and most frequently returning to putting your attention on is what you will create in your 3D reality. Okay? Therefore, when you know what you want, you must deliberately focus your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. So you persist in practicing the feeling state. And if you're struggling with getting into the feeling state, start by asking, how will it feel when my wish is fulfilled? You can be specific with what your wish is. How will I feel when I have fill in the blank? The power of attention is the measure of your inner force. Concentrated observation of one thing shuts out other things and causes them to disappear. The great secret of success is to focus the attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled without permitting any distraction. So what that would mean is, and I've said this in videos where I talk about like being worthy, believing you're worthy of a desire manifests as you allowing yourself to accept its fulfillment in imagination. Naturally, right? Like if you have an assumption that you're worthy or good enough or something is likely for you to experience, you will, in imagination, naturally allow yourself to accept fulfillment of it. And what that really means or looks like is you won't be interrupting the concept of, ooh, I'd like to have that, with thoughts of, but it probably won't work. They probably don't want me, or there's probably none left, or I'm probably not going to get it. It's probably not going to work out, and things like that, right? And so that's what this is. Like, you can't split your attention. You can't be in two different states at once. You can't be focused on the fulfillment of something and be focused on the non-fulfillment of something. All progress depends upon an increase of attention. The ideas which impel you to action are those which dominate the consciousness, those which possess the attention. The idea which excludes all others from the field of attention discharges in action. This one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind, I pass toward the mark. This means this one thing you can do, forgetting those things that are behind, you can press toward the mark of filling your mind with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So forgetting those things that are behind would be letting those previous manifestations of not getting what you want, having, whatever that looks like, having your 3D reflect back that it's not here and they're saying this instead. It's dead, done, and gone. Letting it go, right? And that's how you can have your definition of aim and have your eyes on the prize and have your move forward toward your mark. To the unenlightened man, this will, not will, to the unenlightened man, this will seem to be all fantasy. Yet all progress comes from those who do not take the accepted view, nor accept the world as it is. I'm going to read that again. All progress comes from those who do not take the accepted view, nor accept the world as it is. As was stated heretofore, if you can imagine what you please, and if the forms of your thought are as vivid as the forms of nature, you are, by virtue, the power of your imagination, master of your fate. Your imagination is you yourself, and the world as your imagination sees it as the real world. When you set out to master the movements of attention, which must be done if you would successfully alter the course of observed events, it is then you realize how little you control the exercise over your imagination and how much it is dominated by sensory impressions, and by adrifting on the tides of idle moods. To aid in, so actually I'm going to talk about that real quickly. So what he's saying there is when you set out to do this, when you start practicing awareness of your thoughts and where you're putting your attention, you will see how much your 3D reality is controlling what you assume and what you think and where you go from there. You'll see how much power you're giving your 3D, which is your assumptions and beliefs in manifest form. So you're in a loop of giving this old state of consciousness validation and power by manifesting it and then validating it through the observation of the manifestation. To aid in mastering the control of your attention, practice this exercise. Night after night, just before you drift off to sleep, strive to hold your attention on the activities of the day in reverse order. Focus your attention on the last thing you did, that is getting into bed, and then move it backward in time over the events until you reach the first event of the day, getting out of bed. This is no easy exercise, but just as specific exercises greatly help in developing specific muscles, this will greatly help in developing the muscle of your attention. Also, while you're doing that, you can throw in revision, and anything that comes to mind throughout your day, you can revise it while you're doing that exercise and reimagine it how you would have preferred it to happen. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully and thereby change your future. Imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction of your attention. If you persist night after night, sooner or later, you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self, the real you. Attention is developed by repeated exercise or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so, in course of time, gives rise to a facility or faculty which can then be put to higher uses. When you attain control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. You will walk in the assumption of the wish fulfilled as on a foundation more solid even than earth. All right. Happy Sunday. I will see you guys next video.